Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by this afternoon. Even with my crazy hair, it's going everywhere. That's what they told me back in middle school too, and I still just, I never listened. But hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome on in. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you a ton. We are going to get the stream moving in just a second here once I get everything situated. My setup's all different now. You might notice I have the camera on my left side opposed to my right where it usually is. And that's messing me up just a little bit. So I gotta do everything a little differently. But that's okay. No complaints from this guy. Life is great. Things are good. How are things with you? Are you excited for Weapons coming out tomorrow? That's tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Really highly anticipated new horror film that I'm really excited for. Maybe you are too. That's a movie that I'm not gonna lie, probably the one I'm excited to talk about the most today. But of course, Final Destination, Scream, Terrifier, some burps, all on the table this afternoon, and some other crazy things as well. Speaking of burps, if we meet our super chat goal today of 20, just 20 whatevers, I will drink a lot of liquid on stream. What does that mean? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. We'll find out in a little while. You know, I'm not even sure what that means. But I think that's the most fun part of it all, if I'm being honest. And I'm excited to get to it. So let's say hi to some of the folks rolling into here. We got Shot by Shot saying, "What's up, Jake? I'm going to be working out while I listen." Very nice. Get a full pump in, my dude. And I know you're taking that the wrong way, but get a good pump? No, the more I say it, the worse it gets. Thanks for being here while you're flexing your... I'm not gonna, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm sorry. Shot by Shot, thank you for being here. I need to shut my trap. Official Mig on Tiv01 is saying, yo, what up? Oh, dude, you know what's up right now? Weapons is what's up, and I'm not gonna stop talking about it. I'm so excited for this movie. Ooh, I love me a good mysterious horror film where we don't know what the hell this thing is all about. And it's a movie that I'm probably anticipating the most. I'm finally going and seeing Superman tonight. So I'll have a little Patreon review out tomorrow regarding that film. Really excited to talk about that one. I have pretty much everything spoiled about it because I've seen everyone talking about it, which that's on me for not being able to go and check it out. But man, I'm still excited to check it out. Fantastic Four I'm seeing tomorrow, as well as Weapons. And then some point, hopefully this weekend, I can see Naked Gun. I'm dying to see this one. I love me a good comedy. And to hear a comedy make it to theaters that's being so well reviewed, it's very rare these days. So when that happens, we got to go out to the theater to support it. So what's up with me, Mig? I'm just excited to see a bunch of movies this week. Paul is saying hi. Hello, Paulo. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you a ton. Shot by Shot is asking what my full name is. Theodore Rose Alexander III. I am the third. That's my real name. KillJoy Jake. It's just a stage name. Mr. Rick is saying, just watch Until Dawn. Not bad. Now I'm going to go watch Dangerous Animals and bring her back. Until Dawn was fun, man. I understand why people hated it, because I don't think it's a very good adaptation of the video game. It's kind of just using the title, the name, you know? Just kind of like, we're pretending to be Until Dawn. That's kind of how I feel about that. Which, like, if you're a fan of the video game and you didn't like it, yeah, totally fair. It's not a very good adaptation of the game, but I think it's a fun adaptation of just... like that concept, that idea. I feel like it's a well executed version of a fresh concept with Until Dawn video game elements, which I thought was fun. So for me personally, I had a good time with it. You know, is it best of the year or anything like that? No, but it's in the middle of my rankings right now. Solid watch, not bad. Not a bad movie by any means. I definitely like Dangerous Animals and Bring Her Back more though, Mr. Rick, and I hope you enjoy both of those. Those are both films in my top 10 currently. Samantha, I'm getting around to Bone Hill Road. I'm so sorry. We are officially moved in to the apartment, like pretty much. Like we have a few more clothes to hang up pretty much, but besides that, nearly all the boxes are unpacked now. So we can finally say that after less than a week, which I'm kind of proud of myself for. Can I just say that? I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my fiance. We just got right to it. We got the job done. We busted our asses, and here we are, chilling in this new place now. So we're pretty much unpacked. Pretty much like 99% there, which is awesome. Few little things here and there, but I mean, it's pretty much done, which is awesome. So we're gonna start being able to have some more time to watch some movies, which I'm very excited for. Paul Bradley is saying Dangerous Animals and Bring Her Back, both good movies. Totally agree, Paul. Really enjoyed both of those. Dangerous Animals, that's just a top 10 shark movie of all time for me personally. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Didn't think I was gonna love it, but I did. Now, I know a lot of fans of Scream are hanging out with us tonight, which is why I wanted to bring this up. I'm wearing my Craven Something Scary Stew Train shirt. So, yeah. Look at that, baby. There we go. We got a little stew action here. So, I'm officially on the stew train. I want to see him in Scream 7 because he's going to be in Scream 7, well, whether we like it or not. So, Stu is coming back. Is he alive? Is he dead in flashbacks? Who knows? But I'm on the Stu train, baby, because I want to see what Matthew Lillard is up to in this new film. I'm excited for that. KC Max saying howdy, hey partner, how's it going? Bradley Flegel is saying, hey Jake, I'm so excited for Welcome to Derry. That trailer was insane. Dude, this movie, I'm so sorry, this TV series seems to be something special. It's already been renewed for a season 2. That's how much faith they have in this thing, and it hasn't even released yet. I mean, we're getting close to the release date, but it's not like around the corner or anything. We got a few more things coming out before we get to that one. In fact, in terms of TV shows, the next big thing is Alien Earth next week, which I will be covering this upcoming Tuesday. Really excited for that. But it's kind of shocking that they're already just like, yeah, season 2, let's go. So I don't want to set my expectations too high, but when something like that happens, it's usually because the studio has a lot of faith in it. I mean, that makes sense because It Chapter 1 was one of the most successful horror films of all time. So I would imagine they want this to run for as long as humanly possible. It's probably going to be one of the biggest things bringing people to HBO Max for a little while here. But man, I do have faith, and honestly, I do think it's going to be good, and I am really excited. Really excited to see what it's all about. Billy Boy is saying, sup, Jake? Can't stay in too long. Just want to say sup. Sup, Billy Boy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Red Hood Venom, hi, hello. Mr. Rick is excited about weapons. You're going to see that before you see the bad guys. Oh, that's a good, honestly, that's a good combination. Screw it. That's fun. I'm excited for that one too, honestly. I love me a good kids movie. What can I say? Madison is saying, hello, Poop Man. She's chilling out in the other room. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. I'm going to slash and gash, cut a hole in your ass, saying, hey, Jake, by the way, the people of Better Half got their revenge. Together leaked in F8. I don't know what FHD online is, but the movie leaked, huh? That's crazy. You know, I don't know, man. I can't say one way or the other if I believe this lawsuit or what the hell's going on with it, but it would be really unfortunate if it was true. That's what I'll say, because that movie feels very original, very human, very down to earth. And if that was a stolen concept, it would really bum me out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to speculate because it's a whole legal case. And I don't want someone to sue me for speculation or some crazy shit. But man, I don't know. I really loved the movie. That's what I'm gonna say. Together rocked. If you have not seen that one, I think it's easily a top 10 horror film of the year. And I don't see that changing. I think that one, there's a few horror films that have come out this year that I am just sure that they're gonna stay on my top 10 list. Like there's no way anything's gonna beat that this year. That's one of them, without a doubt. Michael Parton is throwing $5 out there. Michael, thank you for your support, my friend. I really appreciate that. Kicking off our little super chat goal here means a lot to me. Saying, hey, Jake, what are your thoughts on them making a new Amityville film? I was actually hoping they would make a more faithful adaptation to the book. Well, you know, it's an interesting situation because there's like 80 fucking Amityville movies, and I'm not even kidding. It's something like, it's not even that it's public domain. I think it's just that they can use the word Amityville in just titles for horror movies, no matter what it's about. And it sells, you know? So there's like 80 of them. Like you can look it up. It's crazy. There's so many Amityville movies, but this is like an actual, some sort of continuation to the actual franchise, not whatever the, you know, straight to video movies have been for years and years and years now. But I'm excited for it, especially because of the people doing it, which I think that's what it always comes down to, no matter what the franchise is, no matter what story you're continuing. Who is doing it? What director is tackling this one? And it's the Winters, who I love. I think they may have made two very phenomenal things that I personally love a lot. They made this movie called Deadstream, which I recently heard someone at GullGotha, when I was at GullGotha, they described it as a found footage remake of Evil Dead 2. And I don't think I've never agreed with something more in my life. And I'm like, that's so true. It is very much so like Evil Dead 2, but found footage. And it is just a goofy, very fun time. It is crazy. Monsters are running around trying to attack the guy who's writing, directing, and starring in it. It's crazy. Absolutely love Joseph and Vanessa Winter. And now they're tackling Amityville. What is this going to be all about? The reason I bring up Deadstream is because I feel like it's going to be, whatever they bring to Amityville, it's going to be something very similar. Deadstream is a movie about a guy who's like literally he's live streaming and all these ghosts and goblins and monsters come and attack him. It's a bunch of practical effects. Some of them maybe a little shoddy, but there's a charm to it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I'm like, maybe the practical effects aren't like perfect 110 out of 10 perfection, but not everything, you're not always going for that in cinema. And I think Deadstream is a movie that's not necessarily going for that. It's going for the outrageous. It's going for the shock. And if you can kind of get into it, if you can vibe with that, you're going to dig that movie quite a bit. And if they bring that campy, fun energy to Amityville, I think that could totally work and be a film that's very different from some of the other ones we've gotten in that franchise. And I'm not talking about the straight-to-video ones. I can't say I've seen all those. I will not sit through 80 Amityville movies. I've seen like 4 or 5 of them, and I think that's enough, if I'm being honest. I think that's fair enough. But I am really excited. I cannot wait for some more to see what they do. I'm just excited for more Joseph and Vanessa Winters movies. Can I just say that? Like that's what I want more than anything. So I don't know if it's going to be a closer adaptation to the book, though, Michael. What I will say is I think it's going to be a little more of a little campier, a little more fun, a little more over the top. And hopefully something fresh, because I don't want just another Conjuring movie, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of, we could get too far to that, right? And it's just like, okay, we're doing the Conjuring again. And we basically been making movies like that for years and years and years now, since the early 2010s. So personally, I don't think I would want just more of the same like that. I would kind of want them to do something weirder, But I'm excited for it though, Michael. Really hyped here, personally. And the other thing I want to bring up about them just real quick, and then we'll move on to another topic. Michael, again, thank you for the $5. I did want to bring up that they did a segment for VHS 99, one of my personal favorite segments in that entire anthology horror film. It's the one right at the end, To Hell and Back. It's absolute chaos. It might be the very best one in the entire pack, and it's pure chaos. It's just these characters get accidentally sent to hell, and they have to find a way back. And it is so much fun. It's outrageous. It's gorgeous. I think it's instantly iconic. I love Mabel the Skullbiter, one of my favorite characters in all of VHS. Man, I love these. Everything that this couple, or married couple, if I'm not mistaken, their husband and wife, have made together, I think has just been phenomenal. So I cannot wait to see what comes next, whatever this Amityville adaptation is. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Critical Overlord is with us too. Production list mentions Terrifier 4 is shooting September 21st. Holy shit, really? Critical, can you send me that, bro? If you could send me that would be so cool, because I need a Terrifier video in my life. I've been trying to make a Terrifier 4 video for so long, but there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about, like it's been little things here and there. Rhea Ripley keeps talking about wanting to be being in these movies, and that's exciting, but I'm not gonna make a whole video about that. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna say like, oh, Rhea Ripley is gonna get killed by Art the Clown. You're not getting anything from that. You can read about that on Twitter. When I make a video, I try to add something. You know what I mean? I try to add something you wouldn't just get scrolling through Twitter or something along those lines. So a lot of the Terrifier updates, they've just been so small. I just haven't really had the time to put something together along those lines. That would be a big update, would be some sort of crazy theory like how I've done in the past. So I definitely send that my way. I would love to talk about that a bit. That would be fun. Oh, that's exciting, having a Terrifier 4 update. It really is. Shooting this fall too. So is it going to be a fall horror movie again? Are we going back to that? The Christmas aesthetic was fun, but I wouldn't want to do a double beat on that, I like the idea of maybe going back to fall setting, maybe bringing it back a little bit while the story gets absolutely crazy. Because we know this is probably going to be the last one with the Sienna versus Art the Clown saga, at least. But that's really exciting stuff, man. I'll message you after this stream. Who else is hanging out with us? We got Marley Kai. Ayo. Reaper Kid. What's up? My Chunky Jordy is here. Yo. Welcome in. Craig is here too, saying Jake can't stay long since I'm having supper with my fam and writing a screenplay right now. Good luck. Have fun. I hope you're eating something good, my friend. David Primero is saying, what's up, Jake? Can't wait for Friday. It's Freakier Friday. I forgot that's this weekend. Oh my God, that's exciting. New Jamie Lee Curtis movie out. Sequel to maybe one of the movies that more younger people know her from, right? That's exciting. I know that Madison was really excited for that one. Honest to God, I haven't seen the original Freaky Friday since I was like a wee little lad, a little tiny little fella. since I was like a quarter of the size I am now. I'd have to revisit that at some point before I see the sequel. I wonder if it's good or not. I think I saw, did Chris Stuckman post a review of that? Somebody posted one today. I can't remember. So someone saw it early. Faith Dorn is saying, hey, JK chat. Hope everybody is having a great Wednesday. Same to you, Faith. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's hump day, baby. Let's go. Joe Grizzly is hanging out with us saying FHD is full HD. I don't know what full HD is. If that's like a leak site, I'm just not really about that. I don't really condone the whole idea of pirating movies. I think that kind of sucks personally. I get it. Like, movies are expensive. You know, trust me. I understand times are tough right now, but man, the one thing I'm never going to skimp out on is entertainment and movies. Those people, they deserve the money. They deserve the support for their art. There's other things you can skimp out on, my friends. there's other things that you can do with all that. Hey, Gina's hanging out with us, throwing $2 out there, saying hit the like button, please. Hell yeah, make that happen. That'd be awesome. Gina, I appreciate you using a super chat to say that. That's quite kind of you. Means a lot. Hit the like button if you want. I don't know how many likes we have on this stream. I'm going to refresh it. Let's see how many we got going on here. We're at 27, but with 47 watching. Could use a little more, I'm just saying. But I do appreciate it a ton. Thank you all for supporting, for, you know, hitting like and all that fun stuff. Thanks for being here. Casey Mack is saying, do a Thanksgiving setting for Terrifier 4. Yeah, that is a good question, you know? I mean, just because they're filming in September, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a Halloween film again. It could absolutely be something along those lines, like a Thanksgiving set horror. Like, here's the thing. Here's my thing with that, though. I feel like Terrifier is going for old school, where what's really fun about Thanksgiving from Eli Roth, especially, is that it feels old school, but it feels like something that is almost like an untapped market. Like, there's not really a lot of Thanksgiving slashers, not that I can think of off the top of my head, that are as crazy popular as something like Halloween for Halloween or Black Christmas for Christmas. You know what I mean? We didn't really have that until Eli Roth came along and made that 2023 feature. There's a few things here and there, sure, but nothing that was like outrageously popular, you know, like John Carver is kind of today. So would Terrifier 4 go that route? I don't know. I feel like Terrifier 4 would look at something from the past and try to like put their own injection into it. You know, what would be another holiday that slashers are typically set on? Honestly, there's not, I mean, Christmas and Halloween are really the two most popular. Thanksgiving could be fun because that's kind of like your in-betweener holiday, right? But I don't know, man. We'll see what it ends up doing. Maybe the holiday focus is something that we leave behind with this movie focusing a little more on just story elements too. I'd be totally fine with that as well. I suggested a New Year's Eve setting for the next one. I think that would be really fun. Just pick up right where we left off and then just, you know, finish out the story. That could be cool. Oh my God, and we have Arthur Claus here. Look at that. That's funny. Jake, have you seen the new Fantastic Four movie? I am seeing it early tomorrow morning, and I'm really excited for it. So today, obviously, I put out a little scary movie video, which was fun to talk about. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about, hopefully I'll have my weapons review out like very late tomorrow night. It might be Friday, I'm not sure. But I'm going to try to get a video out. I'm going to basically be at the theater for the next like 24 hours just catching up on movies. The one thing I can promise is that I will have a review out for Superman for Patreon supporters tomorrow. So that will definitely go up. And I'm really excited for that. That's going to be a new thing I'm doing for just Patreon and channel members. I'm gonna, at some point I want to post a video about this, but I'm updating the channel members and just Patreon supporter thing. It's gonna be a lot simpler, and there's gonna be a lot more videos going up. I have a whole new plan. I'm gonna review a bunch of movies that aren't horror, because I always get questions like, Jake, what did you think about this movie, that movie, whatever? And I typically don't prioritize them because that's not really the focus of this page. But people are still curious, you know, people still want a review. Thoughts on some of these other horror movies. So there you go. Something I wouldn't post, like, I think that's a little more fun of a reward because it's something I wouldn't post otherwise. You know what I mean? I'm not out here covering a lot of the superhero flicks just because that's not really the niche we're hanging out in. But I'm excited to start covering that through Patreon and channel members. You guys kind of allow, you guys allow me to do that shit basically with that kind of support. That's going to be fun. So I'm really excited, really hyped for all that. For Misery Gaming is giving me an excuse to talk about weapons. I love you, FMG. Thank you so much. Jake, are you excited for Weapons? I'm seeing it Friday. It got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I am over the moon about Weapons. I love Zach Krager. He's made one of my favorite horror films of the decade so far. Barbarian is a freaking banger. And I can't wait to see Weapons. It's got a great concept and a great cast. And to me, these are two of the very most important things when it comes to a good horror movie. You got to have a good cast. You got to have a good idea. You have to have something that's just intriguing from like a trailer. Just from, trailers throw concepts out there. Throw concepts and ideas and some visuals from that. You know what I mean? And what's great about Weapons is we have a setup to a mystery that I can't figure out. Like, I genuinely do not know where this is going. I have a little bit of a clue, you know what I mean? But I don't have it 100% figured out. And that to me is the thing that has me maybe the most excited. I'm really, really hyped to see where this all ends up going. So I don't know, man. Weapons, it's one of the movies I'm anticipating the most of the entire year. I cannot wait to see it very early tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have a review out as soon as humanly possible. But I'm very excited for Weapons. That's going to be a good one, I think. Paula is asking, what is the one thing you would want to see most in Scream 7? The one thing I'd probably want to see most, I think after Scream 6 not having a very good murder mystery, I would love to see a Ghostface really fool me in Scream 7. I'd love to actually kind of get, like, you know, get the wool pulled over my eyes a little bit and it's just like, have a big shock with the reveal. You know, Scream 6, it did have a lot of shocking moments, which is why I kind of forgave that one at the end for not really working for me, because so much before that did. But I am excited for Scream 7 to maybe have a more traditional flow and feel, like some of the older movies. I think that's going to be fun. I like Scream 6 is like a weird outlier for me. I really love that film, but I understand why some people don't, because it doesn't hit necessarily on what the other movies in the franchise have done so well before in the past. This movie I feel like will, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get into it. Hopefully it's going to be fun. Picky Piggy is hanging out with us, saying, I really didn't like that Terrifier 3 was a Christmas movie. You know, the reason I guess I did was because I saw there was a lot of homage to a bunch of different Christmas horror movies that I just personally love. Black Christmas is like an all-time favorite of mine. I love Black Christmas to death. It is hilarious. It's probably the best Christmas horror movie that I can think of. Nothing tops it. And to me, like, there's so many great homages to that, paying so much respect to that while still doing something new. And to me, that's what I just loved so much about it. It was a vibe and a half. I don't even not even like the biggest like Christmas time fan. We're not really, Madison and I, we very much so agree on that. We're not very big fans of Christmas as a holiday. It's a little overrated. Everyone blasts that music 24/7 starting from November 1st to December 31st, and it's a little outrageous. I'm just not crazy about it. But I will say Christmas horror, man, it's a fun little it's a fun little counter to that. You know what I mean? Because Christmas, like, so many people are like, oh, it's this fun time of year and we're all getting together. It's the most stressful time of year. Let's just accept that and watch some horror movies, okay? We're all obligated to get gifts for each other. That is like one of the most stressful things ever to me. I never know what to get people. I'm terrible at getting gifts. I don't know. I'm not very good at it. It's not that I don't like to do it. It's just I'm not good at it. I never get the right thing. But anyways, that's a whole rant and a half. Back to the horror. Platine Phoenix? I don't know I might just be messing up that word entirely. Melissa Barrera should be playing a spoof of herself in like a stabby movie, Stab of Scary Movie. That's funny. Playing a scene of her getting fired or killed by Spyglass. Well, the little leak that we have almost makes it seems like she's only there for like a single scene, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if she's going to be the focal point or not. Scary Movie 6 is such a mysterious film. I do not know what the hell's going on with this movie. It seems like they're likely going to bring Anna Faris and Regina George back. Like, I feel like they have to. You know what I mean? They have to be bringing back like somewhat of the original cast from the first Scary Movie back to this one, because it's got to be making fun of requels. And to do that, you got to bring back legacy characters. You got to be making fun of the tropes there in a super juvenile way, like this franchise has always done. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that they're back. They're such a crucial part of what makes this series so damn funny. They're both incredibly talented actresses who I think are just so goddamn funny across the board. The Wayans brothers too, maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, who are of course back. That to me is like, okay, I'm sold on that alone. But now let's get the rest of it. You know what I mean? Wayans is like the foundation. Now we need Anna Faris. Now we need Regina George. Dave Sheridan as well is another very big piece of this that I would love to see him come back playing Doofy again. But now that we know who Doofy is, you know, could we riff on that a little bit here in Scary Movie 6? I would love to see that. I would love to see more of something ridiculous, some kind of ridiculous continuation to that happening here. Eli Cortez is saying Terrifier 4 should be set on St. Patrick's Day. That could be a fun holiday. Yeah, why not? That would be a fun one. There's a few good slashers for St. Patrick's Day, right? You got your got little Leprechaun hanging out. I like that Fuzz on the Lens is trying to do something with Leprechaun right now. That feels perfectly in their wheelhouse. And I'm wondering if part of that inspiration is talking with Damien Leone about making a St. Patrick's Day Art the Clown. I don't know. I'm not sure. It does make you wonder, will this be another holiday set horror film or not? I'm not 100% sure, because I feel like part of the motivation behind Terrifier 3 being a Christmas movie was to pay homage to a lot of the movies that came before. In terms of Christmas slashers, there's, you know, is Art the Clown going to pay homage to Leprechaun now? I don't know. I don't know if there's a great motivation there. Like, I think the holiday thing would be fun. But I just don't know if there's as many opportunities for Terrifier with something along those lines. I guess, if that makes sense. That's kind of what's going on in my brain when it comes to that. Twisted Film is saying, yo, Jake, how you doing? I'm vibing out. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I got a lot of fun movies in my future. Listen, I love talking with you guys, and that's probably the best part of this job. But I also love the fact that I go to the movies for work. Like, I have an actual excuse to go to the movies. Like, I'm so excited. I'm like kind of hyped to see like 3 new movies within the next 24 hours. It's just like, it's so exciting. I love seeing movies. I remember as a kid, I would miss movies in the theaters because I was a child who couldn't drive. And I would be like, damn, I wanted to see that in the theater. You know, that was going to the theater is so much fun. And I'm excited to go and kind of see more movies now. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but it has me excited. Johnny with I think that's Shrek as your profile picture. Shrek is love, Shrek is life, Johnny. Saying, do you think Gale is going to survive in Scream 7? This is a question I get a lot, and I'm almost at the point where I'm like, I got to make a whole video about it. But my conspiracy theory with Scream 6, going back to that film for just a moment, my conspiracy theory is that whole chase and attack sequence with Ghostface and Gale, that was supposed to be Gale's death. She was supposed to die there in an original version of the script. Let's say. I have no way of confirming that, but it's my conspiracy theory. Put on your tinfoil hats for this conversation, folks. The reason I say that is because, you know, you got to have cause and effect in a movie to build engagement. Like, that's just how good stories are told. And if Gale dies there, that then brings Sidney Prescott into the story for coming into New York City. We could see Sidney kicking some ass during that final set piece. Now, I think the only way you get Sidney there is if one of the legacy characters had died. Gale Weathers, for instance. But because they couldn't secure Neve Campbell, that's why they couldn't kill Gale in that scene. That's why Gale wasn't featured in the rest of the movie. Because isn't it kind of weird that she just gets attacked, almost dies, and then totally exits the movie? We don't see her again. It's weird. And with what's set up before with her character, it would make sense to kill her off. She commits a cardinal sin. It's the sin factor, like Randy was talking about. She does something unsavory, something that like just goes against what had been built up with her character before in the past. She resorted back to her old ways after losing Dewey. And I think, to me, that would have been the perfect time to kill the character. You know what I mean? That to me that makes sense to why Gale would die basically by her own hand in a weird sort of way, right? Because she wrote that book and profited off of it when she said she wasn't going to do that, and then would get killed by Ghostface. In the past, you know, she's gotten by by doing this, and you're almost kind of like, man, Gale sucks, you know? Like, I can't believe she keeps doing this. She keeps profiting off of this and doing all these kind of awful things to just improve her career, essentially. but then it finally, bites her in the ass kind of thing. That would essentially be what Scream 6 would be saying with that character. And we didn't really get a follow through with all that setup. So to me, I think my conspiracy theory is Gale was supposed to die there. Nev Campbell dropped out. They couldn't get Sidney. It wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense for Gale to have died and then Sidney doesn't show up. So Sidney shows up when Dewey dies, but Sidney's not going to show up when Gale dies. It's like, damn. That doesn't make any sense. These are, lifelong friends who have survived trauma together despite their differences before in the past. I just don't think it would have made sense. But Gale is a character that I think could die now here in Scream 7, to answer your question. Because you have Sidney back, because this is a Sidney-focused story, I feel like this film's going to try to kill a legacy character. Scream 7's got to prove itself. Again, let's be honest. There's just been a lot of turmoil with this film, a lot of people naysaying it, including myself. I'll be honest. I have my doubts. A lot of production issues, many, many, many things. It's not just the Melissa Barrera thing, too. Let's be honest here. Patrick Dempsey dropping out, I feel like was a big mistake. I feel that bringing back all these legacy characters and then announcing that you're going to do it is ruining one of the surprises. It might be that. I'm definitely leaning towards it definitely is. So the odds are kind of against Scream 7 at this point, even with Kevin Williamson at the helm, which is awesome and a major positive. But I am worried about the film. So I think it's going to try to swing big. And that to me is what I'm the most excited for with 7. I want to see this movie swing for the fences and do something insane and really just try to prove that, hey, this is a Scream sequel, damn it. We're doing shocking and surprising things. You're not going to see this shit coming. I really hope it's able to successfully do that. That to me would be wonderful. that would be like the most that would be the fastest way to success when it comes to a new Scream movie at this point, is find a way to shock and surprise me still. We got some new folks hanging out in the chat here. We got Steph2007 saying, I have watched Wednesday Season 2 Part 1 today. Oh yeah, I forgot that drops today. Oh man, I actually meant to watch a little bit of that. And it's awesome. You need to watch it, Jake. You will understand these emojis once you have watched it. It's I think a crow and a zombie. That's exciting. I watched Season 1. I liked it quite a bit. It was fun. I'm excited to check out Season 2. That might be what my video tomorrow will be on. I don't know. I don't want to keep my fiance up. She's going back to work tomorrow. But I might, after Superman, I might come home and watch a little bit of that if I can. Would love to get into some of that. Picky Piggy wants a Better Watch Out sequel. Ooh, that's another really good Christmas horror film if you guys have never seen that one. Highly recommend Better Watch Out. Really fun watch. Jason Lore is saying, are we surprised that Dewey and Gale didn't have any kids? It would have been great. A great way to continue those characters. Honestly, I don't know if everyone loves this about the two characters, but I kind of like that they had a lot of these relationship problems. It makes sense. They're two very different souls that have found love for each other, but can't quite make it work because of how different their lives are. And I think that to me is what's so interesting about them too. Dewey's a character who's just always going to be in Woodsboro. He doesn't like not being there in a lot of ways. Where Gale is someone who's like, she's got to go out and be very career focused, right? These are two very different kinds of characters who do have this maybe unexplainable love for each other that they just can't shake. And I think that to me is what I love about them, is their constant back and forth. The what is it? The schism in their relationship that they're constantly trying to resolve or fix or mend or whatever. And that to me, I think, is why I don't know if it would ever make sense for them to have kids, because I don't think Gale Weathers is the kind of person to settle down, is the kind to just go full Dewey. You know what I mean? Neither of these characters want to go 100% the other way or the other. It's just not in their DNA. So to me, I think it makes sense that they never had kids, for me personally. Child's Play fan is saying, I feel like Gale is going to be vulnerable in Scream 7, especially since her character was so injured in 6. Her dying here would make sense. I feel like it would be a good follow-up to what happened to in 6 as well. Like, again, she's someone who's just profiting off of these deaths still. And I feel like the comeuppance is on the way. I think Gale is a character who has tried to do good and has in the past, but you know, she just sticks to her evil, not evil ways. That's not what I want to say, but like she's doing things that isn't great and kind of promoting the Ghostface idea. Like it makes the idea of becoming a Ghostface better. You know what I mean? It's this idea that I could be in a book one day that's highly publicized, part of this like ongoing murder spree of people who all share the same face, essentially. That to me seems to be an attraction to becoming a Ghostface killer, something that's been a much more present idea in Screams 4, 5, and 6 especially. So I think that Gale continuing to write books about these things and profiting off of it, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you got to tell these stories, and she's right. Like someone would have done it otherwise if I didn't write it. Like, yeah, you know, she's 100% right about that. But at the same time, it does promote the whole Ghostface thing. It probably is making people like Jason and Greg from the opening scene of 6 want to go Ghostface even more, even if their motive was solely about Richie. But why did Richie want to become Ghostface? It's because there's movies based on this thing. There's real life people who have become famous by doing this, even though they're dead. And I can see, if you're a weird little loser, like almost all of the ghost faces we've ever gotten, that the attraction to that, having some sort of fame, whether that's a good or bad thing under your belt, which again is something that will always keep me invested in the Scream franchise, is that element to the ghost faces, that there's a fame element to it now. Ever since 4 came out, I feel that kind of injected it's injected this whole new flavor to Scream that I feel like is just really fun. It's so nefarious and evil to me to want to like kill people just to become famous. Like that's so evil. That's so selfish and fucked up. And I think that's why what my attraction is to Ghostface killers, and, you know, learning their motive, learning who they are. It's more to me than just, you know, being fooled as to who they were amongst the crowd. It's honestly more so about the motive for me at this point. I'm excited to see what the motive of the next movie is, for sure. After Wednesday, I got to watch Dexter. There's so much Dexter, man. I want to watch Dexter, but there is a lot of Dexter. We'll get to it at some point for sure. Tom, thanks for being a channel member, dude, saying we need a brutal kill in Scream 7. I agree. We're hearing from Mr. Mason Gooding that someone's going to get strangled with their own intestines. I love it. 10 out of 10, no notes. I want to see that. I want to see intestines around someone's neck. Their own intestines, in fact, not someone else's intestines. Does it get better than that? I don't think so. Cryptic Haze saying, what are 7 things you want to see in Scream 7? I want to see a good motive. I want to see a shocking reveal. I want to see a brutal death. I want to see I want to see the focus actually be on Sidney Prescott. I want this film to actually deliver on the things it's promising, opposed to just making another Scream 5. Make a Sidney movie. You're saying you're going to make a Sidney movie, make a Sidney movie. I don't believe that this film is going to be a solely Sidney film. Honestly, that's where I'm at with it. They're promising us one thing. I think it's going to be something else. 2 other things. I want to see them do something really solid with the core 4 in general. We have Mason and Jasmine back in the film. Ooh, and there's something I can't say about Mason and Jasmine, by the way. I'm sworn to secrecy, but let's just say I'm really excited to see what they do with them. I want to see them put some respect on the core 4's name. You know, say that Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega are off doing something else, and that's why they can't be there. Don't just ignore the problem, address it. You know, I hope Scream 7 actually does say something about it, like they did with Neve Campbell in the previous film. And finally, number 7, I want to see. I don't want the focus to solely be on the nostalgia from the past. Tell a good news story here in the present. You know, we all love Scream 1. No one's coming to this film who doesn't love the original Scream. I think is what Scream 7 maybe doesn't understand. Or maybe it does understand that and thinks that's the only thing that's valuable about the franchise. No, I love the sequels too. A lot of the sequels are great because they do focus on just the new story that they're trying to tell, but sometimes this franchise gets a little too, you know, we're going to spin the yarn about the previous films. You know, we're just going to talk about that the whole time. It's like, okay, guys, just tell a good news story here right now in the present. It's going to be 2026. What's Scream up to in this year right now? What's the thing they want to say? Make it happen. You know, I don't know. I hope it's not too like, hey, remember that thing from like 30 years? No. Yes, of course I remember that thing, but no. That's my thoughts. Just get past it, okay? We all love Scream. We get it. Move past it. Pat and Jester is saying, I want to see someone get strangled with their own intestines in Scream 7. Me too. Come on now. Wes Carpenter Flicks is really upset that I haven't seen Dexter. I know, dude. It's one of those shows that I totally missed. I also, like, for a long time, I didn't watch Breaking Bad, and then finally I just sat down and watched it. Went through all of that. A couple years after that, saw Better Call Saul. And those two shows are like two of my favorites of all time. So I know with how much love Dexter has, I'm probably going to love it. But man, I'm really excited. Really excited to see what it's all about. I still haven't had the time. It's 8 seasons. It's intimidating. Okay. I just went through 6 seasons of The Handmaid's Tale, which was also phenomenal, but it took so long. It was such a good show. But oh my God, so much to it. So much to it. Lots to chew on, lots to think about with that show, though. Oh my God. That's an insane one. Talking Chucky podcast is real quick. Talking Chucky. Erica is here. Hi, Erica. Thank you for modding. You are so amazing. Thank you for being here. Sorry we bullied you a lot on stream last night. Talking Chucky podcast is saying, went to a screening of Weapons last night and the movie was so damn good. Crazy and out there. They even gave out promo potato peelers. Oh God. Oh no. What's happening with potato peelers? Oh, I can't wait to find out. I'm going to see it tomorrow, Talking Chucky podcast, and I'll have a full review on Friday. I'm excited. I'm glad you got to see it. I'm jealous, but I'm excited you got to see it. Tony Rock is saying, Killjoy Jake, want to hear more about Sydney's book? We didn't get much. What else do you want to know from Sydney's book? I'm curious. Because we've kind of, the book's kind of about all the movies we've seen, you know? So I'm curious what, I don't know. I'm curious what you want to know about the book. Steph 2007 is saying, you know what, this might be weird, but I don't want a Ghostface reveal in 7. They can leave that for Scream 9. I want them to do a trilogy, so like just cliffhanger after cliffhanger, building up a reveal in a 9th entry. That's wild. You know, I kind of like the idea of a cliffhanger, though. Again, it's something Scream has never tried before, and yet it feels so at home with this franchise, doesn't it? I like the idea of keeping something a secret across movies, giving us some time to really digest and think about it, but you got to set that up well, because I feel like we're going to figure it out in between movies. That to me is the thing that I would... That to me is why if I was approaching a Scream movie, I would be wary of doing a cliffhanger. You would have to do something like... Here's my thing about Scream 7 doing a cliffhanger. I think I've thought about this a lot, especially recently. The Lethal Collective guys were always talking about this. I feel like you would have to reveal who Ghostface is, but the cliffhanger would be maybe they get away with it. Maybe they right about to stab Sidney or something, cut to black. You know, Sidney Prescott will return in Scream 8. That's how you would have to do it, because we would totally figure it out in the 3 years it would take to get to the next one. And then I feel like if we had the reveal in the next movie and we all had it figured out by then, Scream 8 would be kind of disappointing. So personally, I would want the Ghostface reveal. Give us that, but then make Scream 8 a whole new animal. Make it an entire third act, basically, of what we would usually get in a Scream movie, but it's an epic now. You know what I mean? Like, basically, Scream 7 would be the first 2 acts of a usual Scream movie, but played out a little longer, more fleshed out. And then the entire Scream 8 would just be brutality. You know what I mean? Just like fighting. No, the mystery, we're not doing the mystery thing anymore. We know who Ghostface is, but it's about stopping them. For whatever reason, this Ghostface is actually different this time around. And we have to spend an entire movie taking him down. We'd have to find a whole new way to set this up, a whole new formula. But again, under pressure like that, you breed innovation. So I would love to see a weird little series of movies like that. Maybe a little duology within the franchise. That could be fun. Tyler Ism is hanging out with us. What's up, Tyler? Throwing $10 out there. Thanks for the support, man. Saying, we're back, baby. You're goddamn right, we're back. We're back on a brand new set. It's coming along. We had some folks on the gaming channel saying they were a little disappointed that this wasn't as fleshed out as the old set. And you're right, it's not. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of going for a little more of a minimalist thing. I thought it was kind of fun that we just had some masks over here and like just a bunch of bullshit on my left. But I think I'm going to put some movie posters right behind me. Like on this back wall over here. I think I'm going to do like just a wall of movie posters. Hang them up. That might be kind of fun. But I hope you're digging the set for now. It's only going to get crazier as time goes on. And I need to get rid of some stuff. I have too much stuff. I have too much little stuff all over the place. I still have 2 boxes of props in that closet. Like, I don't know what to do with them. I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's wild, man. Paula, you're right. The Scream TV series ended with a cliffhanger, but for me at least, I feel like the Scream TV series is just below the movies. It's not bad. It's not unwatchable by any means, but it's just not, I don't know. It's just not the movies. Like, I think all 6 movies are better than the show, by far. Movies and TV series in terms of quality, they're just totally different animals. You know what I mean? And that goes for most things. Sometimes you have a TV series that's like, holy shit, that was really good, and movie quality. That happens all the time. Yeah, especially in the modern day. But I don't know, the Scream TV series, it feels like the Scream TV series, not a longer version of the movies, I guess is my point. Nothing about it is outright bad. It's just, it's okay. You know, it's all right. I watched it like maybe once through. I think I've gone back and rewatched a few scenes, you know, to talk about in videos time and time again. But it's nothing like the movies where I've come back to it multiple times. I shit a lot on Scream 3, man, but that movie beats out anything in the series for me personally. And I would love to see them actually approach a cliffhanger with, you know, Scream movie quality, I guess is my point. Tyler saying, let's design something together for the set until we end up tattooing you. Okay. Shit. All right. We have a lot of people in the chat who really want to stick needles into me, and I think that's funny. we have there's a lot of people that come in and out of the stream who are like, I just want to stick a needle in you, bro, and I'm so here for it. Let's rock and roll. I would love to get. I've told Madison this before, but I really want a full sleeve. I got a little Ghostface tattoo right here with the horns from Red Right Hand. I want to get a Chicken Man somewhere on here from my short film, and then I want to do like I don't know, just the whole right arm. I think I want to do, and like nothing else. Maybe my left leg too. Right arm, left leg. I think that would look really sick. So Tyler, we'll have to make something happen. I gotta send some DMs out there once I actually have tattoo money. KC Mac is throwing $10 out there. Thank you, KC Mac. Appreciate you a ton. Saying, Jake, how was your day going? I was wondering, what are your thoughts on Hell House not doing the found footage route this go around? Oh, that's a really good question. KC Mac, this is an interesting thing for me because I really loved how the rest of the series was found footage, especially the first one and the fourth movie. But I the middle two, I wasn't as crazy about, and I almost feel like the motivation for not doing found footage is just because they're almost like, I don't want to say out of ideas. That's not the right way to phrase it, but it feels like they're kind of just, wanting to do something fresh. Steven, I think his name is Cognetti, if I'm not mistaken, who created that franchise. He just made his very first movie that wasn't found footage. And, you know, guys, I always want to support indie horror. I would recommend that you go check it out. Personally, I was not crazy about this movie. I think it was called something like Forest Hill Drive or something. I can't remember. It's on Shudder. It's a new Shudder movie this year. I just wasn't crazy about it. I really wanted to like it too, because I really enjoyed the first Hell House. Carmichael Manor, also a banger in my opinion. Middle two of that franchise, I'm not as crazy about. I don't know. Hell House 2, Hell House 3 didn't really do it for me. This new movie, I recommend you watch it because it does have a Hell House feel to it. I don't know. It didn't really do it for me. And I guess that's why I'm almost a little worried about the new Hell House coming to theaters this month, just because it might lose something without the found footage element to it. This is the 5th and final entry in the entire series. And like I said, the last movie was a bit of a slight return in my opinion. I was like, okay, that was fun. That was a good found footage movie. Really, I had a really good time with that one. I worry that this one's not going to be as good. I really hope not, though, because I think like just the jump scares, the grainy look to it, there's an appeal to that when it comes to the good Hell House movies that might get lost here. But maybe they're able to do something fun with the story, because there is a pretty intense and bizarre ongoing story throughout all 4 of these movies that maybe they just couldn't do with found footage. Maybe they just wanted to open it up a little bit, where when you're doing something found footage, it is a little more closed off. You have to have a reason, an excuse to be filming all the time, where there's just some kinds of scenes you couldn't do with found footage because maybe it just doesn't make sense with the setup that you have going on. So I'm excited to see what the reason is that they're not doing found footage. That to me is the absolute biggest. That's like the most important thing to me, I think, when it comes to this new movie. So Hell House Lineage, right? That's what the title is? If they answer that question well, I think I'm going to vibe with it. And I really hope it's good. I'm rooting for it big time. Again, like indie horror, I have to root for it. Whether it's something I'm just really in love with or maybe not as much, I'm really rooting for this one. And I highly recommend that you guys go and see this one in the theaters when it does come out. So please go support it. Please go check it out. I love Hell House, man. I want this one to be good so bad. So definitely check it out. There's big releases that people will, basically fall on a sword for, like I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I understand that, but that movie made plenty of money. that movie made plenty of money when there are 10, 12, 20 releases this year that didn't make any money that I think were just a million times better. So please go and check out Hell House. It might be really good. I don't know. Indie horror rocks, and it doesn't get enough love, in my opinion, just because it's not connected to an ongoing series, and that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, go support an original movie. Go do it. Go check it out. I know you've heard probably a lot of streamers and YouTubers say that a million times, but man, a lot of these movies are totally worth your time. KC Mac, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for a new Hell House, man. I can't complain. I'm definitely excited to see what it's all about. These movies, if nothing else, are extremely fun. Even 2 and 3, which I can't really get into as much. But I still have a good time with them. Great popcorn movies, if nothing else. Destination Station, what's up, dude? You're just passing through saying, hey, you're passing through the KillJoy Jake station, taking the stew train back to Destin. What's up, bro? Thanks for being here, though, man. There's so many great content creators, man, and I just don't have time to collaborate with everybody. It's a shame. I definitely got to have more people on. It's been a long time since I've had, more guests on the channel. King Matthew III is saying, do you think a Scream crossover with I Know What You Did Last Summer would be cool, since the director of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer said she wants to do that? Here's my thing. We were talking a lot before the new I Know What You Did Last Summer came out, and I was saying they're totally turning this into Scream. This is the Screamification of I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're two franchises that have often been compared to each other because I think the only thing they share in terms of what similarities they have is tone. They're both, the first movies at least, are both written by Kevin Williamson. So that's where I think you get that. But in terms of actual plot structure and what these movies are ultimately about, they're just two totally different franchises. And that to me is why I just don't feel like a crossover would really work or make sense. I don't know. I get the appeal. I get wanting to see these characters both exist in the same universe. That could be fun. What would a conversation between Sidney Prescott and Julie James look like? But that to me just feels like that feels more like something that would happen in a fan film versus an actual movie that we get. What could that add to the mythos or just the lore, I guess, essentially of both of these of these movies? It would be fun, but I don't know. But I guess there was a lot of naysayers who were saying the same thing about Freddy versus Jason, right? And that's a fucking super great movie, super fun, dumb movie that doesn't destroy anything that came before it, and definitely didn't hurt anything that came after. So I don't know. I mean, if they did that, I'd watch it, but it's not anything that I'm clamoring for, I also just don't feel like it makes as much sense as something like Alien versus Predator, for instance. Alien versus Predator is such a great versus movie, and it makes sense. You have two creatures that are just great foils of each other. The Predator is an alien that is motivated by hunting things. There are so many moments throughout all 5 of the Predator films so far where the Predator could have just easily killed the person in front of them, but they don't, because it's about the hunt for them. If they die hunting something, that's the greatest honor that one of those warriors can have in their lives. And that's what makes a xenomorph the perfect foil to them, because they're the most perfect being in terms of a alien monster, whatever. I mean, they have acid blood. They're super intelligent. They're hard to kill. That's why those two movies work so well together. What would the Fisherman and Ghostface be doing in the same play? You know what I mean? I guess that's my point. I just don't see why we would need to put both of these movies in the same universe. I just maybe there's an argument for it. I just don't see it. if someone has something out there, like if there's a good reason why Julie James needs Ghostface to come after her or vice versa, hit me with it. But I've thought about this a lot because we've had the question come up a few times on stream, and I don't know. I don't see a good natural story occurring with those two characters, these groups of characters in the same universe. Even though I do love both franchises, you know, it's not that I don't want them to cross over. It's just I don't know what story could possibly come from that, I guess is my point. Patrick throwing $5 out there. Thank you so much, Patrick. Appreciate your support. Saying double feature tomorrow. Oh, I forgot about this movie, dude. Weapons and Strange Harvest. I'm pumped. Fuck. I don't know when I'm going to find time to watch this movie, but I'm so excited for this one too. Fellas, Strange Harvest is a killer looking new movie, a supernatural slasher film, which I'm looking this up because I need to fact check myself, but I'm pretty sure it's coming from the same people that made one of my all-time favorite found footage movies. Wait, what's it called? Strange Harvest. I literally forgot the second word. But dude, I remember reading about this and I'm like, this looks like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Stuart Ortiz, did he? Yeah, Grave Encounters and Grave Encounters 2. Yes. Oh my God, dude, I am over the moon about this. So Stuart Ortiz is directing this. He did Grave Encounters and Grave Encounters 2. Again, if you have not seen either of those movies, I couldn't recommend them enough. I think easily some of the best found footage movies ever. And I cannot believe that I don't own them. But man, Strange Harvest comes out this weekend, looks really good. Look up a trailer for it. It's got a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't know about that, dude. Out of 23 reviews. Okay, so that means it actually has a 96%. It's not like 4 people recommending the movie or something. Dude, I am hyped for that. But Patrick, we were talking a lot about weapons earlier. That's why I'm hyper focusing on Strange Harvest. I'm really hyped for both of these. Both of these look very good. Cannot wait for them. I'm going to find time to see Strange Harvest. I'm going to figure that out. Because, man, I forgot about that one. I can't believe that's this weekend. There's too many good damn movies coming out. This month in particular, too. There's too much shit, which great problems to have, can I say that? Like, just so many good movies are coming out. So many good-looking movies coming out this month in particular. It's going to be chaos for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try to find time to make that happen. I have a very good friend of mine is getting married on Sunday, so I have no time this weekend to go see movies, unfortunately. But I would love, man, if I can get out to Strange Harvest, Patrick, I will totally do a review on that one. It looks excellent. Like maybe a surprise hit of the year. Dude, I hope you enjoy both of those movies. Have a great time watching them. And let me know how you feel about them. We'll be streaming again on Friday. So give me your takes. Give me your takes on all these movies. I'm excited. Thank you again for the 5, Patrick. Means a lot. What is going on? Pat and Jester is hanging out with us. I thought we had something. She's just saying that might be interesting. That is interesting. Quite interesting. Hey, Jake, just started YouTube and I talk about weirdos online. You're talking about Chris Chan? Oh, God. Tips for you, especially talking about, more controversial subjects. Just... I don't want to say play it safe. That's not good advice ever, I feel. But I don't, there's things that you just can't push it with, especially on YouTube. I made a post the other day that was supposed to be like a joke. I said something, it was something like, if you guys fuck with me, come check out my gaming channel. It was just a goofy, dumb thing, just like a goofy, whatever joke. And YouTube flagged that and said, Jake, you can't post, anything that has some sort of sexual gratification in it. And I'm just like, what? How could, I can see how you can spin that way, but that is clearly not what I meant. You know what I mean? That's what? That is not what I meant by that at all. It was, I don't know. It was just a very weird thing. So YouTube, they're really cracking down on that lately. You might have heard about the whole, asking for IDs if you're under 18 now, for the, what is it? The monetization program, which is, I don't know. I don't really approve of that, in my opinion. It's just, I disagree. I feel like just if kids want to fucking have their parents' approval so that they can do YouTube or something, you know what I mean? Most kids are just playing video games on here. It's fine. and their parents are probably looking at it anyways. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things where just don't play it safe. You know what I mean? You gotta make good content on here. That's especially talking about stuff like that. But have fun doing it. Talk about things you're actually interested in, and have a good time doing it too, because that'll show through the camera lens. I promise. One of the most important things is have a good time with what you're doing. Michael C is hanging out with us. What's up, Michael C? Hey, hello. What's up? Imic Hilton is saying, greetings from Greece. What is up? What's up, Greece? How's it going? First time catching a live, but I always watch the streams afterwards. Also super late here. It's like 11 o'clock. We're working tomorrow. That's no good. I'm so sorry. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you for being here. I'm sorry it's so late. I'll try to I try to stream at different times sometimes so we can catch all kinds of people, all kinds of people all around the world. But I do what I can here. Always just doing what I can. I'm gonna try to start doing some weirder streams sometime in the future. We're doing a ranking stream here, another tier list on Friday, which I'm excited for. Don't want to announce the topic yet because I'm not even 100% sure what it's going to be yet. Probably 2010s horror, 2010s horror movies. Emmett Hilton is saying, I mean, they did Freddy versus Jason, and this would make more sense from that. Freddy versus Jason were, two icons that were constantly compared, though, and I feel like, once again, not necessarily foils of each other, but they made them foils of each other in that movie, which I'm not out here trying to say Freddy versus Jason is like this super genius movie throwing these two characters together. It's not. But they found ways to make these two characters villains in questionably fun ways, and that's what I'm failing to see with the Fisherman and Ghostface. They're two very similar characters in terms of like it's a person in a mask, you know what I mean? It's a person hiding their identity, running around killing people. So it's like, I don't know. Freddy is like, he has supernatural powers where like he's in your dreams or whatever. The fire is kind of the thing that made him what he was, where water is kind of the thing that made Jason what he was. That feels like there's a natural contention between these two characters. I'm just not feeling that with Ghostface and the Fisherman. They're both Kevin Williamson properties, and they're similar franchises in terms of tone, but like I need more than that, I guess is my point. What would the story even be there that these two groups of characters also would be in the same place? Why is Sidney Prescott hanging out with Julie James? I don't know. That's just my thoughts though. I think it would be fun, but I think ultimately I'd almost rather see like a 20-minute fan film of that versus like an actual full-length feature, personally. Sully Streams is hanging out with us saying, Jake, when are you seeing Weapons? Checked it out last night. It might be my favorite of the year. Is this just playing in theaters right now? I'm actually going to be so mad. Because, dude, they were doing that. They released Together a day early, and I didn't know about that. I had no idea, and I just like looked on the Regal app, and it's like, oh, there's screenings happening right now, and I went and saw it. I'm actually going to be bummed. I'm looking it up right now because I'm like, man, what's up with that? Weapons. Yeah, show me this movie. No Wednesday screenings in my area. I'm like, if I'm missing like a screening right now, I'm going to be bummed because I'm excited for this movie, fellas. This is one of the movies I'm maybe the most excited for the year. Okay, there's a earlier screening tomorrow. I am going to try to see that as soon as possible. I'm seeing Fantastic Four and then Weapons tomorrow. So it's going to be movies all day. Really excited. I'm seeing it tomorrow though, Sully, and I'll give you a full review on Friday, maybe Thursday night, maybe. We'll see. I promised Madison a very big very exciting dinner tomorrow. I'm cooking her up something fancy. I'm excited for it. Jason Lore is saying, how old do you have to be to start a YouTube channel? 18. It used to be you could have like a parent, kind of do it essentially, and you could run the page, but they've really cracked down on that in the last like 6-7 years or so. And now they're implementing the whole, you got to like submit your ID if they suspect that you're younger than 18 now. So I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things. You know what I mean? I get it. There's a lot of YouTubers who are, I don't want to say annoyed, right? Just to get into kind of the weeds of the issue a little more than just the general what's happening. There's, you know, I'm sure you've heard the term like green screen kids, you know what I mean, who will just react to stuff and repost it. That there's a lot of that, and maybe that's what it is. You know, maybe it's like, okay, trying to deter younger kids from doing that. I don't know. I whatever, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, well, if people are watching it for a reason, you know. I don't know. Don't steal content. Maybe kids don't quite understand that just because they're younger. We can give them a pass on something like that, which is maybe why this is their solution. But at the same time, I'm just like, whatever, man. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a weird minority with that one. Anyways, let's get into some more things here. What else is happening? Jake, did you watch the new South Park episode? Oh, I haven't yet. I loved the last one though. The last one, I fucking was losing my mind laughing. Goddamn, those guys are so funny. They're so funny, and they tricked us, like, which I think is so funny. They totally tricked us. They months and months ago, they said they weren't gonna hit on that topic. They're like, we're done with that. We've said everything we could possibly say with that, and then they released that first episode of the season, and all the trailers for the new South Park season, it was literally it was all fake shit. It was all like just like it was all just stuff that they just came up with like in a room. They're like, let's put that in the trailer. Yeah, like I think they have Diddy flying through space at one point. It's like, oh, that looks like a South Park episode. That's not going to be an episode. That's not even remotely going to be that's so funny. Like, I mean, that is the most South Parky, and those guys just never lost it. I don't know. There's a few people out there who will say that South Park fell off. It never did. It, like, they've had some seasons that are better than others for sure. And recently they've had a pretty bad season. Like 3 or 4 seasons ago was one that was just kind of a disaster. But man, South Park never fell off. I don't know. They are constantly every season I think has like just at least one excellent episode. And all I'm going to say for the last season, Dick and Boss. If you know, Dick and Boss hot dogs, 10 out of 10 episode. No notes. I was fucking crying laughing at the end of that one. Oh my God. South Park is great. 10 out of 10 show. Just one maybe my all-time favorite animated show. I am so excited to see this new episode. And yeah, I saw if you're also like, oh, Jake, did you see all the images from it? Oh yeah. Oh, I did. I know what it's about, and I'm excited. That butthole is finally getting wrecked, if you know what I mean. KC Mac is saying, your Barbenheimer tomorrow, fantastic weapons. Yes, I'm doing fantastic weapons tomorrow. And I think these weapons are going to be fantastic, let me tell you. I've heard nothing but good things about Fantastic Four and nothing but good things about weapons. So I think I'm in for just 3 movies in a row that are going to be great. I'm seeing Superman tonight, finally, Fantastic Four, and then weapons. Once again, heard nothing but good things about these 3 movies, and I'm just really excited. It's going to be fun. Jake, after your move, are you now an AMC guy, or do you stick with Regal? You know, it's weird. Fort Misery Gaming. I'm closer now to 3 different. I'm close to a Cinemark. I'm close to an AMC. I'm close to a Regal. So it really doesn't matter, which is weird. I'm sticking with Regal just because they got a pretty damn decent plan where it's like you can just get like a basically free movie tickets if you subscribe to their thing, which I said wrongly in the past that it was like $18. It's like $22 a month, which sounds like a lot, but if you go twice, you've made your money back. I mean, movie tickets are expensive these days, and I'm seeing 3 movies within the span of the next 24 hours. It's totally worth it if you're someone crazy like me who sees movies as often as I do. So I do the Regal Pass because it's literally like free tickets, but you just got to pay that, you know, $22 a month or whatever. I don't know. Regal rocks. I've looked into the AMC like stub pass. Like that's actually pretty solid too. And honestly, I had the Cinemark one for a very long time before I switched to Regal. But I just the free tickets every single time thing is like, because sometimes I don't get concessions. You know what I mean? I'll go to a movie after I just ate dinner and I'm good. I'm like, yeah, I'm going here because I got to see the new movie and do a review for it tomorrow. So Regal for me at least is the best. If you're someone who's a little more of a casual moviegoer, maybe you go like 2 or 3 times a month. Cinemark or AMC definitely they rock too. But yeah, the free ticket thing is pretty sick with Regal. Riley Rage is asking if I've seen Cherry Falls. I think I've seen Cherry Falls. I always get this one mixed up with Disturbing Behavior. Whenever someone asks me about Cherry Falls, I'm like, oh, that's Disturbing Behavior, right? And they're like, no, it's a totally different movie. Yeah, it's got Brittany Murphy in it, Michael Bain. Who else is in this? I don't know any of these other people. What is this one about? Maybe I've seen it. Discovers the presence of a serial killer in his sleepy hamlet. I don't think I've seen this movie. I'm going to be honest. I think I've talked about this one before. Like I've talked about wanting to watch it. I don't know if I've actually ever seen it. I love that when you look this up, though, there's a Reddit post with a guy with the craziest looking face ever. That's not from the movie. It's like a meme or something, but that's really funny. Anyways, I will add it to the watch list. Right next to Bone Hill Road and the Funhouse, which, by the way, we were watching. So my buddy Connor came over to the apartment for the first time last night. We watched the new War of the Worlds. It's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, greatest film ever made. That's a joke. We love watching bad movies together, and we heard this one was astronomically bad, and it is. But I noticed that the movie The Funhouse is on there. So David, or whoever keeps recommending me that movie, I'm watching it. I'm watching it as soon as possible. I can actually watch it on Amazon. It's on there for free, which is cool. So if you have Amazon Prime, rock on. David Primero throwing $5 out there saying, is it true that Freddy drowned Jason in the lake and Jason was burned by the people for doing so? Huh? Also, I want a new Scream to emphasize bullying. No, what happens no, I haven't seen Freddy versus Jason in so long. They fight at the end, you know, I don't think that happens though. Does that happen? I haven't seen, honest to God, dude, it's been so long since I've seen Freddy versus Jason. That's like, it's a movie I watched multiple times as a kid. I rewatched it like once during my Friday the 13th marathon, like when I bought the box set. I don't remember I don't even remember how it's been so long. Freddy versus Jason, it's a fun one, but like I got to be watching it with like friends or something. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a movie that it's just dumb fun. You know, it's not something I'm watching all the time. But yeah, no. You want to Scream to emphasize on bullying, though. I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, I can totally see that happening. If we ever go back to, you know, high school characters again, which totally wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, that could totally make sense. I think when it comes to Scream, you know, you have to have... The young audience is always going to show up for a new Scream movie. We literally just had... Madison's sister's kids over like earlier today, and they were checking out the set, and the one thing they pointed to, what do you think the one thing they pointed to on the set was? They were like, oh no way, Ghostface, that's so cool. They didn't recognize anything else going on the set here, but they did recognize Ghostface. Younger kids, they know Ghostface, they're always going to check that out. I feel like you always have to kind of have a younger element to Scream because that's just your core audience. Which I totally understand. But yeah, I feel like I feel like you're gonna get that at some point again for sure. That's not out of the realm of possibilities for a new Scream movie, without a doubt. David, hey dude, I really appreciate the 5. Thank you so much. I'm gonna rewatch Freddy versus Jason sometime soon. There's too many movies that I have to watch. It's crazy. Casey Mack, I did not see the new Him trailer. I totally missed that. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm excited for this movie, but I'm so on the fence. If you haven't seen anything about Him, it's a football-themed horror film. It feels like a movie I've never seen before, and that's the attraction for me personally. Even if you're not a football fan, I feel like it's something that is an exciting thing to look forward to. I just don't know. I don't know. Nothing about the trailer is really gripping me besides the concept. Is that weird? I haven't seen the new trailer though. But yeah, I don't know. Not a whole lot. Like there's some cool shots, this and that, whatever. But I'm just like, is this just a movie about a guy who's like using roids and killing people? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of what I think it is. And I feel like I need a little more than that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it is. We'll see what's up in Him. I am Him. I love when people say that. That cracks me up. Riddlemaster66 is saying, I would make the most trippy horror movies a person could see without getting high. That sounds awesome. I love that. I'm all about it. I'll make those with you. That sounds great. I really want to make a trippy horror movie. I think that would be a lot of fun. What else is going on? AMC A-List says 3 movies a week, but any format. Okay, that's cool. Regal is like you can watch any movie in standard. You know, you can't like you have to pay for IMAX movies still. But like you can watch like basically as you could see like 4 movies in a day as long as they were different movies. And Regal will let you do that, which is cool. So I do like that about Regal. AMC, that sounds pretty cool though. Infinite Sky is saying it was previously called Goats, but now another film has taken the title. I'm excited for Weapons, going to see it this Sunday. Yeah, him was called Goat. I forgot about that. I kind of like the title Him is interesting to me. Again, I like mysterious one-word titles for horror films, especially. So we'll see what it's all about. Beer Belly Angler is saying, hello, I'm excited for Naked Gun and Weapons. Dude, I am so excited for The Naked Gun. I loved those movies as a kid, and I can't wait to see what this new one's all about. Very excited. Weapons again, seeing it tomorrow. Can't wait. What's my worst movie of 2025 so far? Clown in a Cornfield by far. I hated every second of that movie. That was a miserable, miserable watch. I don't know. A lot of people are saying it was fun and it was like, okay, you know, it was gateway horror, this and that. It was miserable. If I showed that to a kid, I think they would never want to watch a horror film again. I don't know. I was just not vibing with that one at all. The dialogue was so bad, it made me want to leave the theater. I left at the reveal. The second movie I ever walked out of was Clown in a Cornfield. And it really bums me out, man, because I saw the trailer and it looked pretty good. I had a lot of faith in that one being maybe some sort of new slasher. Some sort of new slasher franchise. That movie it's one of the worst films I've ever paid money to see. That was horrible. Just a genuine 0 out of 10. KC Mac throwing $5 out there is saying, Jake, if you were to pit toe horror icon in a movie, what? Who would have it be? Mine would be Chucky versus do a versus movie with 2 characters. If you can get both Brad and Warwick Davis. Chucky versus Leprechaun makes sense to me. Like these are both supernatural characters, you know what I mean? Just in general. I feel like that just alone, when you have a supernatural element, that to me is an easy way to do a versus. That's another thing about Ghostface versus the Fisherman. Like they're not supernatural. You know what I mean? I feel like they're campy, but to push it that far, I don't know. Chucky versus Leprechaun, I could totally see that being the case. You know, you have a voodoo possessed doll, like a kid's toy versus a leprechaun with leprechaun magic. It's like, yeah, that movie totally works for me. That's ridiculous. I love that. Who would be 2 villains I would love to see pitted together? You know, if Freddy versus Jason didn't exist, I feel like an even more ridiculously fun 2 slasher villains that would be a great like match for each other would be Pinhead and Freddy. I like these. Freddy to me is like the antithesis of Pinhead is the antithesis of Freddy Krueger. It's the more cynical response to Freddy Krueger. Because, you know, you have Freddy come out in 1984, and it's this really fun and over-the-top movie with an admittedly scary concept. There's your juxtaposition that makes it fun and something different. It's a really fun and over-the-top movie, but it's dealing with a really genuinely scary supernatural concept. You can't sleep. When you sleep, which is something we all need to do every single day, this guy is going to come and attack you and maybe kill you. That is a scary concept. I love that. But the way it's approached is so 80s and so fun and so over the top. And I think, for me at least, you know, Hellraiser comes out 3 years later, and it feels like just a very similar movie in terms of concept, but executed as much more of a drama. Like, I think if you watch Hellraiser, I think a lot of people are surprised that it's not a slasher film. You know, a lot of people view Pinhead as like he is this slasher villain, you know, but that's not really the case. Pinhead's not even in the movie until like arguably the 3rd act, which is like kind of a shock the first time you watch Hellraiser. Anytime I've shown people Hellraiser, they're like, when is Pinhead coming into this? What's going on with this like dude regrowing himself in the attic? You know what I mean? What is happening with this? And it's a shocking movie with the way it plays out, but you still do have so much iconic imagery from it. You still have all this like supernatural bullshit happening, just like you would in a Freddy Krueger movie, but it's just with such a much more cynical and less fun attitude. But it's a painful movie, which totally works with the whole pleasure and pain thing that the Cenobites are technically kind of all about. So I've always loved Hellraiser, and I would love to see Freddy Krueger in that universe somehow, some way. That would be an insane matchup of. You would need so much VFX. You would need so much VFX for that movie. Like that would be your number one focus. Maybe even more important than finding the right writer and director. Like making sure that you had a good VFX team for that. There's no way you could do that with just practicals. That's just would be impossible. But I would love to see that movie. Pinhead versus Freddy would be a fun one for me personally. But Casey Mack, I love Chucky versus Leprechaun. That would just be the most campiest, funnest, turn your brain off, have fun with it kind of movie. Would be very into that for sure. Casey, thanks for the 5 again. Appreciate you. Thanks for you're number 1 in our little crown system here too, which is sick. Killmore Horror and Gaming is saying you can see the same movie if you want. Regal is not Movie Pass. They don't limit viewings. Yeah, they don't limit viewings, which is again another thing I really like about Regal. Erica is saying I have a free AMC Stubs tier, and they give us $5 towards a movie a month, and then $5 on Tuesdays plus $5 off concessions. Safe to say their fave number is 5. Yeah, yes. And Regal, I think the other thing I like about them too is they do give you like free, like small drinks, free small popcorns that you can upgrade for like a couple of bucks. So you're basically paying like $2-3 for a large popcorn, which is like, that's unbelievable in today's day and age. So like when I do get concessions, which I don't do often, that's pretty cool. That's actually kind of a sick little element to the Regal thing. They don't have like straight up, $5 off of something, if you're getting concessions every single time, you might not, get discounts on it like all the time with not as much as something like AMC or Cinemark, which is definitely a little better about that stuff. But the free movie ticket thing is just so awesome to me. Again, not sponsored by any of these brands. We're just talking about, what I think is the best. Fort Misery Gaming is saying, Jake, do you think the Chris Stuckman movie will be higher quality than the Pooniverse movies? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I definitely... Listen, I like the Pooniverse movies, but they're goofy B movies. You know what I mean? They're not meant to be taken seriously. I feel like the Chris Stuckman movie is. I feel like this is a much more dramatic, straightforward horror film where those are, it's fucking Bambi, but he's killing people. They're not trying to. I think it would be a mistake for the Pooniverse to try to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're not gonna really enjoy you're not really gonna enjoy those movies if you're expecting cinema or art. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Turn your brain off, have fun with the fact that Bambi is fucking killing people on screen, That's kind of what I said in my review. I'm like, yeah, this movie's not great, but what did you expect? What did you expect from Bambi the Reckoning? Devin Morgan is hanging out with us saying Annabelle versus Megan. This is one this is a versus that would be tough, I feel. Annabelle versus Megan. Both two different companies too, which is that's another tough thing with this one. I can almost see like Chucky versus Megan makes a little more sense to me. Annabelle versus Megan, I don't know. I feel like Annabelle having the religious element is what really takes it out for me. You know what I mean? You have like this this very vague voodoo element with Chucky that's kind of just been like twisted throughout the years with all these different bizarre angles. You can kind of do whatever you want with Chucky. Annabelle's a little more strict. She's not like a doll that's running around and moving either. She's possessed by a demon, so to say, that's fucking shit up for whoever her owner is at the time or whatever across different movies. So that's a tougher one. I think Chucky versus Megan would make a little more sense. Hellraiser, crazy ass movies. I agree. I love the first two Hellraisers especially are great. Number 3 is not bad though. Craig is saying, Jake, why did you smoke me in Fall Guys yesterday? I'm so sorry. There's an animal inside of me that comes out when I play Fall Guys. And as you know, Jess Madison and Teddy, it's the same thing with them. We all just get like hungry for blood. I don't know why. But Fall Guys, it's always vicious over on the gaming channel, which definitely make sure to go subscribe to. Hopefully I'll have a new video up there tomorrow with our playthrough of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. Would love to have that go up at some point. But Craig, I'm so sorry. You'll definitely have to, after our next stream, we'll be doing Fall Guys again. You'll have to play again, and who knows? Who knows what'll happen? So, you also watched Chicken Man recently, and what the fuck, in a great way. That was your review. I love it, Craig. Dude, I'm glad you liked it. It was a really fun short to make, and hopefully we can do more with it someday. I would love to do personally, I would love to do a whole film out of Chicken Man. There's a lot of stuff in that short that's teasing where, the full-on movie would go, where the full story I would want to make would go. There's just like kind of little bits and pieces of setups that don't really go anywhere. But again, it's supposed to be teasing like, hey, this is going somewhere. There's a little bit of body horror in Chicken Man, for instance. It's kind of more of it's a little bit of a straight up home invasion slasher, but it got some elements of body horror and supernatural to it. That I think some people would watch that and be like, that didn't really go anywhere. But that's kind of the point. It was supposed to be just setups for maybe more things to happen with that later, with just things we couldn't do in a 10-minute short film. So I'm hoping to do more with Chicken Man. I have a whole story laid out. I know exactly what I would do with it. It's a matter of, making a feature film is a tough and very expensive thing to do. So we'll see. Maybe we'll make that happen sometime here in the future. Who else is hanging out with us? GullGotha? I don't know. What's up, my friend? Z is hanging out with us. Or X. Letters are hard for me. What's up, Jake? How's it going? Brother, it's going great. I don't know my fucking letters. I need to go back to kindergarten, but it's going good. I'm okay. I'm a little, I'm a lesser after trying to pronounce that name. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for being here, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for talking some horror. Picky Piggy is saying that Chicken Man is a horror icon. I appreciate that. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. What else is going on? You need a Chicken Man cheese grater? That would be great. Yeah. Chicken Man's weapon of choice should be cheese graters at all given moments. That would be fun. That was a fun kill to do. I wish we could have done more with it. Again, I wish I had I think everyone's always going to wish they had a bigger budget and more opportunities to do crazier shit, but I'm pretty proud of that scene. The sound design especially is disgusting. Picky Piggy, I think I missed this. You were asking what horror movies should get novel versions. I'm trying to think, like what's a horror movie that needs a novelization? I almost feel like there's more. I can think of more novels that need to be made into movies. I especially love the short from Mr. King called The Jaunt, which is Stephen King's collection Skeleton Crew. It's excellent. It's got some great stories in there. The Jaunt is a supernatural one from him that I would supernatural the right word. It's almost like dystopian technology terror. You know what I mean? It's the idea of things that could go wrong with teleportation, and I don't know. I love it. The Jaunt it's a fantastic, evil little story. Really fucked up. Really good stuff. Patton Jester still hasn't watched Chicken Man. It's like 10 minutes. It's nothing, not too crazy of a watch by any means. Check it out. Give it a watch. It's a fun one. It was really fun to make too. We ruined my parents' kitchen. We absolutely destroyed it, and you'll see why when you watch it. But yeah, give it a watch. It's over on my production channel, Human Egg Productions. If you look that up over on over here on YouTube, you'll find it. But yeah, it's a fun little short. It's a crazy fun watch. I'll tell you what. What else is going on here? You can call me X, bro. That's cool. Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate that. Picky Piggy is saying that Final Destination 4 through 6 should get novelizations because, 1 through 3 have that. Yeah, I agree. That would be fun. That'd be cool. I know that Tim Wagner's novelization of Terrifier 2 just recently won some sort of award. I can't remember what it was, but I remember reading that headline and getting excited. I thought that was fun. I only ever read like little bits and pieces of that Terrifier 2 novelization, but it was fun. It was cool. They go a little more in depth about some of the characters that are getting killed and what they're thinking about when Art the Clown is like eviscerating them. it's really messed up shit. So I don't know. It was cool. It's a cool little novelization. It's fun. I feel like there's something just about the movies, about seeing like all this evil, awful shit happening on screen. That's just there's something you lose with a novelization. Like, I think part of it is like actually seeing the crazy type of visual. With those movies in particular, when it comes to gore, I just feel like I would rather see that than imagine it. With most things, I feel the exact opposite though. Like a book, I feel like you can paint a better picture in your own mind with more so than like whatever image a movie could show you. But there's sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I love seeing a gore, like just a really disgusting gore happening on screen. Did anyone else see the name of the peanut butter cups in Final Destination Bloodlines were called Friendos? Oh no, I totally missed that. That's cool. That's a nod to Clown in a Cornfield, maybe. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. That's interesting. That's cool. Friendo the Clown, man. Is he the new horror villain? I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll have to see. Trick or Treat kind of does have a novelization, Picky Piggy. There's comic books. There's a ton of comic books based off of Trick or Treat. Lots of weird little. There's like there's short films that Michael Dougherty has made that feature Sam. There's a sequel comic, or is it a prequel? I think it's a prequel comic showing like Sam's origins, if I'm not mistaken. I know they did the same thing with Krampus too, which is cool. Craig made a compilation of all the times you died in Fall Guys yesterday. Oh man, that's funny. I'm gonna check it out. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Some very good stuff there. What else do we have to look forward to? We have speaking of Annabelle, we have The Conjuring Last Rites coming up here next month, which am I excited for it? Maybe. I don't know. Conjuring 4, I'll see it. I haven't really been super impressed with the last couple Conjuring movies, but I do love a lot of the originals, man. Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, the first 2 Annabelle movies I really like too. But the rest of them have just been kind of, whatever, I don't know. I had fun with the first like 4 or so, but after you get to a certain point with the Conjuring, and I feel like it kind of fell off. Strangers Chapter 2, that's another one where I'm like, I'll see it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm really excited for it after what Strangers Chapter 1 was all about. It's a bummer because I think the first 2 Strangers movies are fantastic, and to see the latest one, and it's just such a buzzkill, that does bum me out. But yeah, we'll see what Strangers Chapter 2 ends up doing. Casey Mack is saying that we need a Trick or Treat sequel. I totally agree. I would love more Trick or Treat. That would be so much fun. That movie is it's a movie I watch every single October. I think it's like one of the most October movies I've ever seen in my life. It's a great little anthology flick. Would love another one of those for sure. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark also has that October vibe to it. It's a fun one. It's got some really cool little creatures running around in there. Patton Jester really only likes the first 2 Conjuring movies, but I'll give Last Rites a shot and see if it's good. I hope it is. I hope they end this on a good note. I don't know, man. Ever since they handed the keys to the kingdom over to that Michael Chavez guy, I haven't really been crazy about the movies. I don't know. James Wan, I feel, is the only one who can make like a great Conjuring movie. 1 and 2 are excellent. I really like 1 and 2, but even Annabelle 1 has problems, and Annabelle Creation might be my favorite from the bunch. Annabelle Creation is a really fun movie. I think it has some of the most brutal scares in the whole franchise. That one's crazy. We just watched Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2 again. And man, like, I just love James Wan's movies, man. He just even in a film that I'm not as crazy about, like Insidious Chapter 2, I definitely like a lot less than the first Insidious. I'm still just watching that movie and I'm like, there are some just awesome shots in this film that I'm gonna like just geek out about forever. That movie just starts off with the most insane fucking like zoom, like from out of absolutely nowhere, and pulls into this interrogation room, right up to Rose Byrne's face. And it is like, that's the coolest fucking way to start a movie. I love James Wan has got an undeniable style to what he does. And man, he does it very well. So when it comes to just anything James Wan is going to tackle, I'm going to be there for it. I'm going to see that. Come on now. What are your thoughts on Tales of Halloween? Have I seen that one, Tales of Halloween? Ooh. This is one that I might have passed on Tubi. I might have seen this on like Tubi years and years ago. It's 10 shorts. I have not seen this movie. Man, I might have to watch this. I really do like I do like films like this where it's just a bunch of different crazy shorts. So I might have to check it out. It's got a great cast. Oh my God. Joe Dante, Lynn Shay, Barbara Crampton, Caroline Williams. Holy crap, man. There's a lot of good people in this. James Duvall, Adam Green. Okay. Hey, Mick Garris is in this, dude? No way. Adrienne Barbeau, Stuart Gordon. Rest in peace, by the way. Madison Eisman. Okay. Wow. A lot of people in this movie. Holy shit. I'm gonna have to watch that. Crazy stuff there. Crazy stuff. Smoking Crystals is saying new setup. Yeah, dude, I've moved into an apartment recently, so we have a whole new set, whole new city, whole new vibe. This is phase 2 of KillJoy Jake, I guess. Maybe like phase 4 or 5. This is the third set I've had, I'm pretty sure. I started this whole shindig sitting on my parents' couch filming videos. Then I moved it all into like my old room, and now I'm in an apartment. So here we are. Here, phase 3. We'll call it phase 3 of KillJoy Jake. Hopefully the best phase yet. Fingers crossed. I'm trying, I'm definitely trying my best here. I've been really happy with a lot of the videos I put out this week. Really fun stuff. I talked about Shelby Oaks, which was it's a movie I'm really excited for, and thankfully has some hype behind it. Coming from Chris Stuckman, who it's been a pleasure talking with him recently. I grew up watching a lot of his movies, and I attended a few horror movie screenings that he was also at, and I kind of geeked out and and ended up growing a pair and chatting with him a little bit, and it was fun. He's a really nice dude. He really is. He's very he's very giving. He's very just knows a lot about movies. There's a lot you can learn from him, I feel, just talking about movies with him. I remember specifically after Smile 2, we had a very long conversation with it was me, Dylan from Splattercast, and Chris Stuckman. We're all just sitting outside that movie theater having a conversation about it. And just talking about Smile 2, I asked him a few questions about Shelby Oaks, things he could tell me. That was exciting. And man, I'm really excited for the film. Anytime a YouTuber like that is able to, make the jump from YouTuber to filmmaker, that's always something I want to support. I remember the Filippo brothers, when they announced Talk to Me, man, that was so exciting. And then the movie fucking delivered. I was like, from the opening scene of Talk to Me, I knew I was going to like it. I'm like, that opening scene was like, it was so like their style, but applied to horror. They've always had like horror elements in their weird little skits and videos, but to see them go full blown like A24 style horror, you could just feel that from the opening scene and throughout the rest of the film. And it was done so well. So I don't know, man. I love to Talk to Me. I was so excited about that. And now hearing that, Chris is now making that jump. This is a movie that's been in the works for some time now too. They did the Kickstarter campaign years and years and years ago. The production got delayed because of the writer's strike. I think it was like they were in post-production at that point, and things just had to get delayed by like basically a year, it sounded like. And they finally finished it up in 2024, ran it through festivals. Neon picked it up, and now finally it's coming out in theaters, which is so exciting. So I'm I'm really hyped for this movie. I'm 99.9% sure. You know what? I'm just going to say it. I'm 100% sure that it's about Helltown, which is like a real thing here. Check out my video I just did on that. That's a thing from Ohio that, you know, Chris Stuckman is also from Ohio. I know he's totally making this movie about a certain like fucked up town here, which is really cool. So I'm really excited for it, and I can't wait to see what it's all about. And I'm rooting for the guy. I really want to see him succeed. I would love to be in that position one day in my career where I'm making a feature length film and putting it out there. That would be awesome. Casey Mack, yes, I have seen Cobweb. That is one of the most underrated horror films of the last 5 years or so. Cobweb is excellent, and they just fucked up the release of that movie so bad. For whatever reason, they put it out in limited theaters in July, I believe, of 2023. And it is the most October horror movie ever. Why they would release that in the summertime makes no sense. Great movie though, with some pretty insane twists. It honestly, Cobweb feels like one of the very best like Blumhouse movies. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's got like a Blumhouse feel to it, which I think some people hear that and they're like, ugh, you know, stay away, right? But no, this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. It reminds me of like the old days of Blumhouse. Feels like something that would have came from the company in like the early 2010s. Feels something more aligned with like Sinister or Insidious. And it's just done so well. I loved Cobweb to death. It's just got a really interesting flow and feel. And it's got a pretty good twist. I mean, it's a twist that I didn't see it coming personally, but like it totally makes sense. And I don't know, it worked for me big time, where I can see why maybe it doesn't for some other people. Picky Piggy is asking if it's a spider horror movie. I don't want to say what it is, because that's kind of the twist. You think like it's one of those movies where the whole time you think it's one thing, and then you kind of figure out it's a little more complicated than that when you get to the end. And I liked it. I liked it quite a bit where it ended up going. There's two elements to the ending that I just think are very well done. But I loved Cobweb. That's one I got to pick up, dude. That's a hidden gem for sure. Really enjoyed that. Allison Chains is saying, if you never caught Fall of the House of Usher, it's obviously a Poe adaptation anthology. Brutal, though. That's from Mike Flanagan over on Netflix. I never watched that. I weirdly heard not so great things about it, but it's Mike Flanagan, so like it's probably really good. I had a buddy watch it, and they said they weren't crazy about it, but I kind of just don't believe them. I'm gonna be honest. I've yet to see something from Mike Flanagan that I didn't really like. At the very least, like there's definitely some things I like more and less from Mike, but everything he's made is like pretty fucking awesome. Shit. The only movie of his I haven't really seen is Absentio, his first film. And I hear it's fantastic. It's like probably the most underrated from his catalog. So I got to sit down and watch that too. And I also haven't seen all of his Netflix shows. I've seen Haunting of Hill House, which is like maybe the best thing he's ever done. 10 out of 10 there. But man, his movies are... and I haven't seen Life of Chuck. He just put that out. I haven't seen that one yet either. But I'm excited for it nonetheless. Everything the guy touches is gold. He has the Midas touch in horror, without a doubt. He's kind of a slightly unsung master of horror. Like I would say he's at that point for me now. Mike Flanagan, he's just made so much good shit that I feel like we have to throw him up in the ranks there. He's a master of horror at this point, dude. Man, I really just think everything he's done is at least pretty damn good, you know? I don't know. Master of horror in my book, Mike Flanagan. Fall of the House of Usher was fucking awesome. You should definitely check it out, Jake. I'm gonna give it a watch for sure. I really want to watch Bly Manor too. It's like that's another one that's very similar to Hill House. I really want to give that one a watch. There's so much good stuff. So much good stuff. I wish I could just take like a month off and watch all of this shit. I would. If I could, I genuinely would. Recording Makes Me Happy on air with Scott is saying, hey Jake, how are you? How are your horror movies? Oh, they're good lately, my friend. How are you? Thanks for being here. I'm fantastic. I just recently rewatched, Well, actually, the last movie I watched was that Ice Cube War of the Worlds, which is an atrocious film. It is so bad. It's like fucking hilarious. It's so bad. Wow. Yikes. But I just recently rewatched Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. Those are really good. Those are very fresh on the brain right now. And the more I watch those, the more I'm just like, oh my God, these are just so good. Like, man, horror classics. Insidious is it's a great franchise. It's kind of fallen off recently, but man, James Wan, he makes a good horror film. What can I say? What am I seeing though recently? I'm about to go see Weapons tomorrow, and I'm seeing Superman and Fantastic Four within the next like 24 hours or so. So I'm seeing a bunch of good movies here in the future, and I can't wait for all of them. I'm so behind on the superhero films, but Patreon and channel members will be seeing those films shortly here, and I'm really excited for you guys to check those out. It's gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun lots of fun videos are on the way for sure. I can't wait for it. Midnight Mass, yeah, that's another one. Casey Mack, I know, man. There's so many good shows and shit. I haven't had the time. It's been a lot of work getting into this apartment this year. We've been working on making this happen since like basically January. No, even before that, man. I mean, even late into 2024, we were already kind of setting all this up. So it's been a lot of work. I've taken on some side jobs and other things just to make enough money to do all this, and it's been crazy, man. It's been a lot the last 2 years or so. But we're making it happen. We're pushing forward, and we're doing this. So it's been fun. I heard good things about Naked Gun being hilarious, though. I've heard a few things. I know a few things about Naked Gun that I won't spoil here since it is so fresh, and I'm unbelievably excited. It sounds like a hilarious film. Definitely really excited for Naked Gun. I grew up with the Leslie Nielsen movies, and those are just like a huge part of my childhood. So I think I'm gonna love this movie. I'm really hyped for it. Cannot wait. Very excited to review that one. I want to see what Mike can do with The Dark Tower. Hopefully he gets the chance. But he has the new Carrie series and the new Exorcist film coming out. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm excited for the new Carrie series, but like we have done Carrie to death. Like I don't know. I don't think there's. Here's what I'll say about Carrie. There's a new path that you could take with it, but no one wants to fucking do it. Nobody wants to go down this other path. And it's something that I don't even know if I want to say out loud or in a stream, but it's like, why the fuck don't they change it up? Like I don't know. It's a whole rant that I'm just not gonna talk about on a live stream, but there's something you could very easily do with Carrie that would be a much better version of that story that they've never done. And with The Dark Tower, we need a good adaptation of that because that movie that came out a few years ago, or in 2017, whenever, was dog shit. The Dark Tower books are excellent. I love them to death, and we've just never gotten a good adaptation, unfortunately. So some of Stephen King's best, in my opinion, really could use some love towards that franchise. It's such an unsung Stephen King property that needs a little more love. The new Exorcist film, though, I think is probably the thing I'm the most excited for because I just, with The Dark Tower, I feel like they're going to fuck it up. I don't know why, but The Dark Tower, it's just one of those things that's like, it's a cursed property, man. I love the Dark Tower novels, but I feel like that's going to always be the best version of that story. I would love for Mike Flanagan to make it great, though. That would be awesome. There's also problems with the later Dark Tower novels. I mean, there's like very obvious and clear mistakes. I love The Dark Tower, man, but there's like multiple problems with the last 3 books that I just kind of make me scratch my head. So I would love to see, I would really love to see them. Would love to see Mike especially do that right. The new Exorcist, though, I think Mike Flanagan is really one of the only guys that could do a new Exorcist movie and do it right. I don't know. The last one, the problem with it was they were trying to apply the whole requel thing to The Exorcist, and it's like, why? Like, you're forcing 80-something-year-old Ellen Burstyn to come back for this movie and then just totally like, ruin the character. I don't know, man. That was ridiculous. I don't know. Exorcist Believer. It was an abomination, just a movie that spits in the face of its predecessor in every single way. And I really want to see a new, would love to see a new Exorcist movie that's actually good, you know, actually something that's worth our time, is something that respects how revolutionary that original film was. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Mike can bring that to the table. Even though I love his catalog, I feel like that's a tough ask for literally any writer director to make something that stands up to the original Exorcist, because so many movies have already attempted to do something like that, you know? Like, that's just a tough thing. That's a tough one. What else is going on here? The original Carrie and the 2013 remake are the only Carrie adaptations I care about. I love the original. The original movie is really well done. Sissy Spacek, she's my Carrie. What can I say? She does the role very well. Really love that about the original Carrie. Exorcist Believer sucked. Yeah, I don't know what David Gordon Green was thinking. I think he was thinking, you know, we had so much success with the requel format with Halloween. Let's apply that to The Exorcist now. I don't know, dude. That to me just didn't make any sense. The Exorcist is just such a different franchise from Halloween too. You know, it's not like reliant on campy, over the top ridiculousness that was present in Halloween 2018. I remember when Halloween 2018 like was still pretty fresh and people were talking about it and they're like, it was way too goofy. Like, why would they make it so goofy? And I'm like, dude, watch the original Halloween again. It's so fucking goofy. Dr. Loomis running around saying, Michael's gonna get your ass, or whatever the fuck. Like, I mean, he's crazy. Dr. Loomis is insane that entire film. And I don't know, I'm laughing my whole way through that original movie. I love it. It's a masterpiece. But I'm glad that they injected some of that into Halloween 2018. The humor there really worked for me. Where some people were like, oh man, I can't stand it. And I'm just like, do you like the original? Like, I don't know. It was making me scratch. It was a really weird criticism of that film, I feel. But The Exorcist Believer, it's almost like they tried to do like the same thing. And that just doesn't work with that franchise. You know, if you're going to make a new Exorcist film, I don't know. It's not about bringing back the characters or anything like that. I want to see some scary shit happening. Like, what's great about the original Exorcist is you have all this horrifying and terrible stuff happening to a little girl. That was very taboo in the early 70s when it came to film. And it was just like a really scary new idea. That's why people heralded it as one of the scariest horror film of all time, and arguably still is today. So I don't know, man. The Exorcist, it's great. I want a good continuation to it. I love Exorcist 3, but that's really the only good sequel we have so far. The Marvel Lord is saying, what's up, Jake? Turning 24 tomorrow. Happy early birthday, my friend. Saying, nice studio. Have you watched Slasher on Netflix? The kills are gnarly. You know, I randomly jumped into season 2 of that show, and I just was not crazy about it. I've heard from I've talked about this show before on the page, and some people have said, oh dude, season 2 is like the worst season. So maybe I just like jumped in at the wrong place. But I remember seeing it was an anthology show. At the time there was 3 seasons when I watched it. I don't know what it's up to now. But I just thought, oh, I'll just randomly jump into season 2. You know, why not? That's fun. When was the last time I started a show at season 2, you know? And I don't know. I started with season 2 and I wasn't crazy about it. It did not hook me. I thought the ending kind of made the whole season a waste of time. And it just felt like you drew out just a mindless slasher flick across like 8, 9 episodes, however long it was. And it was just like, why would you? I don't get why you would do this in a series. But maybe other people have said season 2 is the worst season. You got to watch a different season of the show. Watch season 1, watch season 3. Or if there's more seasons beyond that, I don't know. But it's a show I kind of dropped after watching season 2. But maybe I'll revisit it at some point. That would be fun. Erica is saying Jake needs to get to 20 super chats and he's going to chug some random liquids. I'm going to chug some random liquids. I don't know what those liquids are going to be yet, but you might find out here soon. So if we can get there, that would be sweet. We have 6 minutes to do so, and we only have 7 of the 20 super chats. So it's looking grim, but that's okay. That's no problem at all. Anyways, Picky is saying I enjoyed the Halloween remakes. I enjoyed almost all of them. Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills were a lot of fun. Halloween Ends made me really frustrated. I walked out of that theater pretty upset. Magnificent Logo is saying, sup Jake, any news on Thanksgiving 2? Hopefully something soon. Hopefully we get some sort of update. That would be nice. I imagine they're probably going to shoot it sometime this year and we get it next November. I can't see us getting it this week, or not this week, this year. But hopefully it's coming sometime soon. Thanksgiving 2, definitely a movie I'm excited for. Loved that first one. Brutal kills, great killer reveal, some decent characters, and I just love Eli Roth's touch to horror. He's got such a dark and fun sense of humor that was really present in that previous film. Jimmy and Stiggs is his new thing that I believe is out this week, if I'm not mistaken. Got to look that up too. I want to see if there's any showings of that movie in my area. Jimmy and Stiggs looks so good. If you haven't seen anything about this, oh my God, look it up. Try to see it if you can. Oh yeah, they're playing it tomorrow. Yeah, they're playing it on. Oh no, that's the 14th. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, August 14th. This one comes out. This is wow. I'm really excited for this movie. It looks bizarre. It looks like something really, really fresh. It's a splatter flick with aliens. So think the original Evil Dead. Think Dead Alive, but with aliens and just like neon, blood, and gore. It looks crazy. Check out the trailer. It looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a low budget insanity film. I don't even know how else to explain it. Looks like a lot of coke went into making this one. Next Gen is saying Halloween 3 Ends and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are the best sequels in the franchise. It's scientifically proven. I really like 2 of these movies too, but I don't know about that. I actually like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's a really interesting take on the franchise that feels like such a departure from what we know and love about Halloween, but that's kind of what I like about it. I actually like Halloween 2 better than Rob Zombie's first Halloween. I think Rob Zombie's first Halloween is just a way too long, hellbilly remake of the original. I don't know. I just don't like it. I keep coming back to it. I keep watching it, and the more I watch it, the less I like it. Why make every single character in your movie unlikable? They're all the same character and they all suck. I don't know. I just don't get it. Rob Zombie's first Halloween, I just no love for it. Halloween 3 is it's not even a Halloween film. It's just a great standalone John Carpenter feeling movie. I know it's mostly a Tommy Lee Wallace film. Because he kind of like wrote and directed it, but I love Halloween 3, man. Halloween 3 is a lot of fun. I have no love for Halloween Ends. It is Corey Cunningham getting bullied by band kids and drinking chocolate milk. And maybe if that's your vibe, rock on. But I don't know. It's a weird movie. My favorite Halloween sequels, they're probably the original Halloween 2. I love that one. A lot of fun there. I think it's just a great continuation to the original. I don't love the introduction that, Laurie and Michael are brother and sister. That's kind of dumb to me, but the kills are great. The tone is very John Carpenter, but like just not giving a shit, which is a great vibe in my opinion. And I also just love the hospital setting. I think it's spooky. So lots of fun to be had with that one. Halloween 2018 definitely up there too. I think it's just a great sequel, and Kills is one I watch pretty often when it's like kind of this time of the year. Halloween Kills, it's a crazy weird little sequel. It's got some insane kills to it, some mostly fun character stuff, some stuff that's a little frustrating. I don't like what they do with Laurie in that movie, but pretty much everything else is cool. But I don't know. Those are probably my 3 favorite sequels. Magnificent Logo. Sorry, I'm dying here. I need to blow my nose if I'm being so real. Is that gross? That's probably a little gross. Am I going to see Weapons? I'm seeing it tomorrow very early, and hopefully I'll have a review as soon as humanly possible. Sounds like I'm going to have a Terrifier video for the first time in forever up early tomorrow, though, so I'm really excited to get into that. You can't wait for Jimmy and Stiggs. Looks so goddamn awesome, says Patton. You're like, Thanksgiving, good slasher movie, but Jimmy and Stiggs, that's like kind of the one you're looking forward to the most. I'm kind of with you. I love me a good slasher. They're fun. But they're kind of, they're the same thing every single time. I feel like when you're getting into something a little weirder like this, there's a little more of the unexpected. And I think that's like maybe my personal biggest draw to horror is when you can do something that's just a really big shock and surprise. Like something that's just really like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening on screen right now. That's crazy. That will always be my biggest draw, I think, to horror. So that's, I like slasher movies, but they can get repetitive, I think. So I understand that, Patton. McKieran saying any news on Hatchet 5? Not much that I'm really hearing about. It sounds like every time I see a new interview with Adam Green, though, it just sounds like he's trashing on the Terrifier franchise. So I'm sure he wants to bring that series back. With the rise of all these unrated horror films, it seems like definitely the time for something like Hatchet to come back. What is going on? What else is happening here? Erica's driving home now. That's all. It's all good. No worries. No worries. No worries. Appreciate you for still hanging out with us. Means a lot. Take care. Yeah, be safe. Be safe driving home for sure. And you know what else? Another movie I'm just really excited for that I want to end this stream kind of talking about is The Black Phone 2. I can't wait for that. It's probably the movie in October besides like Shelby Oaks and VHS Halloween that I'm the most excited for. Black Phone 2 looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a great follow-up to the original film, and it's taking a totally new approach, which I think is going to be a really interesting direction for the series. So rock and roll with that, man. Hopefully this one kicks butt. I hope it's good. And I hope that they are able to turn basically the grabber into like the new Freddy Krueger in a successful way. Looks like an icy slasher too, which I love. So very good stuff here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate your guys' support. And we'll see you on Friday for a crazy little tier list stream. So again, thank you all for hanging out with us. So much love to you guys. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.